It was just a few months ago that this entire backyard was just an empty plot of grass. We spent a majority of spring building beds, building trellises, planting seeds, and now this backyard that was just empty a few months ago is becoming a major role in this family's food supply. Let me show you everything we're growing here in our backyard garden to feed our family of 5 straight from the backyard. And it's finally starting to get interesting now that all the food's starting to pour in and I can actually harvest from my backyard. So here's our early July garden tour. And I just noticed something great. So I'm gonna start off with my butternut squash. We have 6 planted here in this 6x3 bed. I also have a cattle panel trellis that they can climb up once they get going. But look what I just saw. I just saw my first little one starting to grow. I'm sure I have another 1 or 2 hidden in this forest of leaves over here. But I just noticed that first little squash forming, so I'm very excited. I say this every time I talk about my squash, but I hear that butternut squash makes a better pumpkin pie than pumpkins do, so that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to this fall. If you watched my last video, you know I'm starting to fight off those freaking cucumber beetles, so if you could just say a little prayer for my garden, it would be much appreciated. I'm seeing them over my butternut squash, my zucchini, and my cucumbers down there. Coming in hot on the other side of the trellis, we have our sweet potatoes. And they are just spreading like wildfire, man. Right here behind me, we have 4 rows of potato beds. I planted 150 potato plants, and I was really looking forward to my harvest, but I had to pull up a couple so far, and it's not looking so good. But we'll see here in a few weeks how my potatoes do. If each potato plant only gives me 1 pound of potatoes though, that's still 150 pounds of potatoes, and that's gonna make a major difference in my family's food budget. Having 150 pounds of potatoes, come on! I planted 3 different varieties back here. I planted Red Norland, Yukon Gold, and Kennebec, and hopefully I get a decent harvest. Potatoes are so versatile though, you can make them in so many different ways. I am so looking forward to my potatoes. This is my little green bean area. I have 50 Trail of Cherokee green beans growing. Those are the pole beans that are growing up, doing their thing, officially growing and getting taller than me. I'm so proud. And then over here, you can tell where the bush beans are. And I'm getting handfuls of beans every day. And I'm getting handfuls of green beans from my bush beans every day. It's like a little treasure hunt back over here. I do just want to take a second to talk about these pole beans. You know, I'm a new gardener. I'm not that experienced, but I had no idea that green beans could be indeterminate. So these Trail of Cherokee pole beans that I'm growing grow and produce until the frost kills them this fall. Something else that's cool about these green beans is they're a dual purpose variety. So yes, you can pick them and eat them fresh all summer long. You can also let them dry out on the vines and you'll have dried beans for winter, or you can save them for your seeds to plant next year. I just think that that's something so cool that you can do. In the same bed as half of these green beans, we have our Danver half-long carrots. And last year when we tried growing carrots, they were itty bitty, they barely grew. This year, I know how to grow carrots now. Let me tell you that. Let me show you. And I do be just coming out here and just trying to see how big they get. Anyways, those are almost ready to pull out. The trick I learned is you gotta thin your carrots correctly. We left 2 to 3 inches in between each carrot, and that's how they got that big. Last year, I'm telling you, I pulled them up and they were skinny, itty bitty, little tiny, because I didn't thin them. This year I thinned them, and I feel like I'm a pro at growing carrots, so much so that these 2 beds over here are about to be prepped for nothing but fall carrots. Here are my husband's red pepper plants that he loves more than me. He just wants to make red pepper flakes or something out of them, I don't know. Here are the peppers I'm having an absolute blast with though. Last year we grew peppers up in our driveway in 5-gallon buckets, and yes, we did get peppers, but they didn't get nearly as big as the ones back here, and we didn't get a third of what we already got this season so far. Look at just how big this one green pepper is. This is like a grocery size store green pepper right here. I love putting green peppers in my eggs, so I'm most likely gonna pick that, take it inside with me for my breakfast in the morning. Other than those peppers, every other day I'm coming out here and getting a handful of these banana peppers. I have 4 banana pepper plants, and I have 2 peppercini plants over here that are just going crazy with peppers. I will admit I'm very proud of my zucchini. I have 2 plants in this planter, and oh my god, these zucchini plants are huge. I was just out here yesterday fighting off cucumber beetles, so hopefully I caught them in time to where my plants survive the season and give me tons and tons of zucchini. I hear once it starts, it don't stop. And this is another thing we had in a 5-gallon bucket last year, and I couldn't tell you, like, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that zucchini could possibly get this big. I have tons just growing already. And that one right there should be ready within a day or 2 to pick. This is the bed I had my garlic in, and now just some onions are scattered. They're not doing that great, and a bunch of weeds are in here. So we really got to clean up this bed to where I can plant something else in here before the season's over. I do have a couple onions that bulbed up okay, nothing crazy, but mainly I'm just using this bed for green onions for toppings for my scrambled eggs. And now we made it to another one of my trellises. This is my cucumber and peas trellis. Honestly, when I planted these peas, I wasn't expecting any harvest because last year I didn't get any. So I didn't really take it seriously. I just threw the seeds down. I didn't really take the time to weave them or anything like I should have, but the amount of peas that I've been getting, oh my god, I should have taken my peas seriously because they're producing quite well. Then other than that, we got our cucumbers that are starting to show flowers, so hopefully sooner than later I'll get some cucumbers in if these cucumber beetles don't destroy my plants. I want pickles, man, so if they destroy my cucumbers, I'm gonna be upset. Here's our basil. It's the only thing we have planted in this little bed over here. Then in this bed over here, we have oregano, rosemary, and thyme. Our little strawberry patch. I do have a couple down here that I'm going to come back and pick after this video is done. But we got strawberries and a few onions surrounding the sides and stuff. I refuse to show you our blueberry patch because we just do not have time to maintain everything, and that's just something that we let slide a little too long. So after we get it cleaned up, I will gladly show you our blueberry patch. We do have some raspberries coming in though. I took a couple off the other night and ate them, but they're doing all right. Raspberry jam is my absolute favorite. So although I might not have enough this year to make jam, definitely by next year I should have enough to make a couple batches. Here's my tomato wall. It's 20 foot long. I have 12 Hungarian heart tomato plants back here. And in the front here, in the front row, I have a bunch of red onions growing. In the jungle, I also have parsley in here in between my onions and the bases of my tomato plants. But the tomatoes are starting to come in and they're doing good for the most part. We chose the variety Hungarian Heart for a few reasons, mainly because it's an heirloom variety and my husband wants to save the seeds so we never again have to buy tomato seeds to grow. They're a good canning and sauce variety. The fruits get up to like a pound each, so could you imagine how many pounds of tomatoes I'm about to have if everything goes good? We are planning on making all of our homemade sauces with whatever we get. Our ketchup, barbecue sauce. I'd love to make pizza sauce for our homemade pizza nights. I would love to make our homemade marinara sauce. I mean, anything that can be made with tomatoes. If I get a good enough harvest out of these guys, we're making this year. And I can't forget about my chickens. We have 15 hens here in our backyard, and that's a little bit much for our family of 5 because now my kids are sick of eggs. I could eat them every day. My kids are sick of them, so getting up to a dozen a day on average is it's a lot. But when this flock moves on to their next farm, I definitely think I'm only going to keep maybe 6 or 8 chickens. And I think 6 or 8 chickens would be the perfect amount for our family's needs. I currently have a broody hen. She is in there every time we go and get eggs, and that's just one more thing I have to look up to try to break the cycle with. Because my husband won't get the eggs if she's in there. It's not like she's mean or anything. You just have to reach under her, and it's not a big deal, Will. Pulled out 11 eggs for today, though. I was also going to harvest some of my green beans today and my peppers, but if I let them sit for another day or two, they're going to get so much bigger and nicer to can or freeze or however I decide to preserve them. So I'm just going to wait another day or two before I pull off more green beans and peppers. This isn't a huge garden in my opinion. I wish it was bigger, but we're learning so much back here about what it really takes to grow your own food and feed your family straight from your backyard. And there's just something so special about going out to the backyard and picking your own food and taking it inside and prepping it for dinner. I just can't really explain it. I can't explain it. You just have to know. If you want to start growing your own food, you really just have to start. And let's face it, grocery store prices are never going to go back down, so what are you waiting for? If you like this video and you want to see more of our backyard homestead, I'll put another video up on screen I think you'll enjoy. Until then, stay healthy, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.